IT Catalyst and Caravan. So thank you for attending this webinar. This is our second webinar. The first one was the registration webinar. So for today, we are going to focus on the preparatory testing. But before I talk about the preparatory test, I would like to remind you the Connectathon calendar and also the final participant list, because the registration is uh, is um, is closed. We have two countries that are finishing their registration with Carlos this week, but normally globally we have the list of the participant for the second LACPASS Connectathon. After once I show you the final participant list, I will show you how to find your preparatory test in Gazelle. Okay, and also I will explain you which country are involved in this preparatory test, because it's not all countries. For example, we don't need to if you are applying, if you are testing IPS and MHD, there is no preparatory test to perform during the preparatory stage. So I will go into the details during this presentation. After that, I will give you the list of the support team you can contact if you face any issues. Globally, it's Carlos and me if you face any issues in the preparatory stage. And to close this webinar, we'll let you ask some question, and then some question, or if you don't understand some steps, I can come back to those steps and explain again. So this is the main steps of the event. We start with the registration, and the registration is now closed. So now the next stage is to start the pre-projectathon testing. In the pre-projectathon testing, the the goal of this stage is to get familiar with the Gazelle tools first, and also to prepare your test data and to prepare yourself before coming to the event. For example, for DDCC or DD vaccination certificate, you need to perform some tests in advance to make sure that the certificate, the COVID certificate or the yellow fever certificate you are going to share to the other participant is valid or not. So you need to perform some check in Gazelle to validate that certificate, and if it's okay, so now you can share it. These are the kind of things you will do during the preparatory test. So I will go into the details after during this presentation. So the third part of the event is the connectivity testing. The connectivity testing is not mandatory if you are if you will be on site in Sao Paulo. If you are participating to the event and you will be in Sao Paulo, you don't need to perform this connectivity test. This is just for the countries that are participating remotely. We have, I think we have one or two countries that are participating to the event remotely. So they need to do these connectivity tests to make sure that they have access to the regional node, they have access to the mediator, they have access to all the tools we will use in the testing room in Sao Paulo. So they need to perform some network testing and make sure that everything is okay. So the goal of this webinar is to show them the process on how to perform the connectivity testing. Okay, so this is just for the participants that are connecting remotely, that are participating remotely to the LACPASS Connectathon. So now, after the connectivity testing, we will be ready for the event, the Connectathon in Sao Paulo. And during the event, you will have some peer-to-peer tests to execute. The peer-to-peer tests are the tests you will execute with your partner. It can be another country. For example, Chile will test with Uruguay, and Uruguay will test with Brazil. So depending on the profiles they register for. So these are the peer-to-peer tests. After that, you will have some no-P tests to execute. The no-P tests are the tests without any partner. You don't have any partner to test with. You will just test with some simulator in Gazelle or to validate some message. You have your certificate and you go to Gazelle and then verify if that certificate is valid or not. These are the kind of no-P tests we will perform during the event. And all of these tests, the peer-to-peer test and the no-peer test you will execute in Sao Paulo will be monitored by a monitor team. So they will support you during the testing. And also, if you face any issues, they will help you to find the error in the logs and try to support you also, and then give uh, perform the grading of your test. So this is the activities we'll do in the project attempt, but we will have a final meeting to explain you the program of the event in Sao Paulo, the daily debriefing in which track we are going to start, what is the last track we need to test and everything. So we will have all the details of the program just before the event with Carlos and me. So after the project attempt in Sao Paulo, we have 2 weeks to provide you your report. Each country will have its own report. So it's private. For example, if I publish the report of Chile, their testing report, the other country will not know what is inside the report of Chile. This is just for Chile team. Uruguay, they will have their own report, and that's the same for all countries. So after that, we'll have another final report. That's the global report. That report will be provided by LACPASS. It's more global to say, okay, we have 15 participants, 100 tests has been executed, 2 tests are failed, or 40 tests are successfully verified, or something like this. We'll give the global overview of the reporting of the event and the things we did during the event, the presentation, and etc. This is the global report that could be public, but each country will have their own report. It's just to show you what did you success in the technical testing and what is not successfully done. So globally, these are the steps: registration, preparatory testing, connectivity testing for the participants that are participating remotely, the event in Sao Paulo, and then the report publication. So now, as you know, the registration is done. It's done it's done last end of September. So now we are in the stage of the preparatory testing. That's the goal of our webinar today, to show you where to find your preparatory tests and which country are involved in the preparatory test. For the connectivity test, it will be at the beginning of November. Carlos will send you the invitation for for countries that are participating remotely. And after that, the event will be on 12th. We start on Sunday 12th and will be finished on 14th of November. The report publication will be 2 weeks after the end of the event. You will receive your report probably at the end of November. So this is the participant list. After the registration in Gazelle, we can count 15 countries that are participating to the upcoming LACPASS event. We are just waiting for 2 countries, their official confirmation, but normally it should be okay. In Latin America, we have eight countries, Central America 5, North America 2. On IPS and MHD, all participants are involved on these 2 profiles. After that, we have the WHO Digital Adaptation Kit. We are testing the DDVC, Digital Documentation Vaccination Certificate. It's almost the DDCC, but the difference between DDVC and DDCC is DDVC is more generic because it covers all vaccine code: polio, yellow fever, COVID, and the others vaccine code. And DDCC only focus on COVID vaccine code. Yeah, so that's why in the upcoming event, we are testing DDVC, that is more generic, that's the vaccination certificate that allow us to test all vaccine called yellow fever, COVID, and polio and others options. So after that, we have the innovation. In the innovation part, we have 6 countries. That's the LAC chain. So we'll probably have a presentation of the DDs of the LAC chain topic, the test cases and everything. I think it's next week. You should receive an invitation from Carlos. So they will explain the testing and what will be tested during the event in Sao Paulo. So this is it. And if you, for example, if you cannot find if you would like to test DDVC and you cannot see your flag or your country in this group, let us know. You can contact Carlos, and then Carlos will help you to update your system registration. Or if you want to remove one profile, for example, you can still ask Carlos. He will be, he will help you. So if you have any question on this slide at the end of the meeting, or you can send your question in the chat, I will answer to your question afterwards. So now we are in the preparatory stage. So in Gazelle, for this upcoming event, in the Gazelle LACPASS, we have 4 tools. We have the Gazelle test management tool. That's the tool you use to perform your registration. And you will perform also your preparatory test in the same tool. Okay, normally all of you are already correct in this tool. After that, we have the Gazelle proxy. The Gazelle proxy will catch the message, the request or response message you will send to the file server. So we will have a presentation on this during the week before the event. It will help to capture the message between your system and the file server, if it's MHD, for example. And that message can be validated by using the Gazelle validators, IPS, MHD, or another validator. But anyway, you'll have a presentation on this. And this Gazelle proxy will be used only during the project attempt, not in the preparatory stage. So that's why I will not perform the presentation today. After that, you have the EVS client. The EVS client, in EVS client, you will have some validators like IPS validators if you would like to validate your IPS message. It will validate also some MHD requests or response. And also you have the QR code validator, the DDVC validators. It's available in EVS client. I will show you the tool afterwards. After that, you have another tool, that's the Gazelle MHD simulators. This will be not used for the event, but you will have a presentation on these simulators, how it works and how to perform the test with it. But probably you will not use it for the event, but you will have the presentation of this tool because probably for next year, it will be very useful for your testing. So to summarize, in the preparatory stage, you will use the Gazelle test management tool to find your test plan in the tool. I will show you after. And you will use also the EVS client to find your validator. Okay. So in the preparatory stage, only the countries that are in this list will be involved in the preparatory stage, the DDVC. We have Ecuador, Belize, Suriname, Uruguay, Chile, El Salvador, Paraguay, and Peru. So for the others country, you don't have any preparatory test to perform. So, but I will show you what you can do in the preparatory. Say you can just open the test cases you will execute in Sao Paulo and see if you understand the test. If you don't understand, you can come back to Carlos or me. But for the countries that are testing the COVID certificate or yellow fever certificate, you need to validate that certificate in the DDC, in the WHO Universal Verifier available in Gazelle. If the validation is okay, so you can publish your certificate for other countries because other countries will need to validate their certificate in the verifier and check if they can read your certificate or not. This is an exercise we already do during the last LACPASS connectathon, and we did the same exercise also during the G20 pilot. Normally, all of these countries should know the process, except Belize, because Belize was not part of the G20 pilot. I will show you after the process, the testing process in Gaza. Now these are the tools you are going to use. So in Gazelle Test Management, you can see your test plan for a preparatory stage, your test plan in Sao Paulo, the testing during the event. And also, you will be able to execute your tests from this tool, the Gazelle Test Management tool, and then find your possible partner for each test. For example, just an example, I'm testing MSG. For example, USA is testing MSG, and they act as a client. So Gazelle will provide in the possible partner list, Gazelle will provide to USA a possible partner like Honduras, Suriname, Uruguay. Gazelle will say, okay, USA, you can test with Honduras because they are testing MSG and they are acting as a server. So they can, USA and Honduras can start a test, a peer-to-peer test. USA, we send the MSG transaction. It could be ITI 65, for example. And Honduras can reply because they are server side. So they will reply to the client side, it's USA. So this is the peer-to-peer test, but we'll go into the details afterwards. So in the Gazelle Test Management, you can also find your test partner and then update your evidence for the monitors, because the monitor need to have your evidence to see if the test is successfully done or not. Okay, so the EVS client, I talk about the EVS client. You have you have a validator for IPS, you have validator for MSG, you have a validator for the QR code, COVID, MLS, yellow fever, and poliovirus. And also the EVS client will provide you for each validation, it will provide you the report of your validation. So now, if you go to Gazelle, you need to make sure that for these countries, I mean, Ecuador, Belize, Suriname, Uruguay, Chile, and El Salvador, you need to make sure that once you connect into the Gazelle, Raxel Gazelle, you go to the test management tool. From the test management tool, you need to log in, and then when you log in, you will be on this page. You need to make sure that you are in the right session. The right testing session is Gazelle LACPASS Projectathon 2023, Sao Paulo. If you are not in the right session, like for example, if you connect and you see that you are still in the Indonesia G20 Projectathon, so you need to switch to the right session. The right session is LACPASS Projectathon 2023, Sao Paulo. So to switch that session, you need to click on, let me switch in English, sorry. You need to click on join another session. And when you click on it, you need to search for LACPASS Projectathon 2023, Sao Paulo. To connect on this session, you need to click on this option, and automatically you will be in the right session, LACPASS Projectathon 2023, Sao Paulo. So now, once you get access to this page, you need to go to the play button. It's test execution, this option. Okay, so when you click on the play button, you will reach this page. Make sure your organization name is displayed here. If not, you need to select your organization name. So now, if you have your organization name available here, you need to select the test type. In the test type, you have preparatory and you have connectathon. The connectathon will be the list of the tests you will execute in Sao Paulo. And the preparatory is the preparatory test you need to execute before coming to the event. Okay. So the other country also can do the same, because USA, Honduras, Brazil, Bahamas, you are just testing IPS and MSG. So you can go to the play button. Also, make sure you Your organization is available here. Let's select, for example, Brazil, and then select your test type, connectator. Okay, for Brazil, for example, for the preparatory test, you don't have anything to do. But for the connectator, this is the list of the tests you will execute in Sao Paulo. So you can just have a look on these tests. And if you have any question, you can come back to Carlos or me. So, but at this time, I will not ask you to execute these tests. You can just copy the name of the test case and then go to test repository. And here you can search for the test. When you click on it, you can open the test and read what you need to do in Sao Paulo. Okay, but anyway, we will have a presentation of these tests before the event for you. So you can, if you are interested, you can just have a look of this test, but it's not mandatory for you to do it. But for the other countries, in this list, in the DDVC list, you need to go to the play button, make sure your organization name is displayed here. Let's select, for example, Paraguay, because they have some preparatory tests to do. So select Paraguay, for example. I'm not sure if this is Paraguay. Let me check again. Yeah, this is Paraguay. Okay. So now this is my organization. I am from Paraguay, and I would like to see my preparatory test list. When you select preparatory, you will see that you need to create a QR code certificate and validate that certificate by using EVS client. So this is the preparatory test I need to do. And in this list, Gazelle will say, okay, this test is required because you are testing digital documentation vaccination certificate. In this list, the COVID option is mandatory for all countries. You need to have a valid QR code for COVID vaccine code. But for the rest, the yellow fever, polio, and the others vaccine code, they are optional. So it's not mandatory for you to execute this test. Okay, Carlos, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand in your explanation. These three vaccine codes are optional, it's not mandatory, but the COVID vaccine code is mandatory to validate your implementation of the DDVC. Okay, so now, if, for example, you are just testing vaccine, a DDVC vaccine code, how to execute this test? To execute this test, you need just to click on the play button. It says start a new test instance. When you click on it, you need to click again on the play button. And when you click again on the play button, you will reach this page. In this page, there are two stages, the stage 1 and the stage 2. The stage 1, we say, okay, we explain you how to validate your COVID certificate by using EVS client tool. This is the first stage. You need to validate your certificate by using EVS client tool. If the certificate is valid, you will switch to the second stage. You will share your certificate to the others participant. Let me give you just an example. I am from Ecuador. I'm testing with the Ecuador system. The first stage is to test my COVID certificate from Ecuador by using the WHO Universal Verifier available in EVS client tool. That's the first stage. And the second stage, if the validation is successfully done, that means I have a valid COVID certificate. So now I will share it in the sample list available in Gazelle. I will show you where to find this sample list. You will share this certificate to the others country to say, oh, okay, Belize, Suriname, Uruguay, I have a valid certificate. I share it to you, so you can take this certificate and validate it in your validator, or try to open it, or try to test it with your verify application or something like this. This exercise was done during the G20, and you did the same also during the first LACPASS connectator. So now, how to validate your certificate with EVS client tool? These are the steps. You need to click on the following link to open the EVS client tool. So let me select, open this. You need to copy the link. When you copy the link, you have the menu QR code. And then you have the submenu QR code validator. You need to click on validate. When you click on validate, you have the possibility to select the EUDCC or DDCC. The EUDCC will be not used for the upcoming event. This is just for DCC certificate. We are testing the DDVC DDVC certificate. So select the DDCC Universal Verifier and then upload your QR code like this, for example. Okay. Once you upload, you have the button validate. Okay. So right now you cannot do it because the validator is under development on WHO side. So once the development are done, Carlos will give you the go to perform this test. But the way to the steps to execute the test to validate your certificate in EVS client are explained it here in how to say in these steps. So you can find all the steps. Go to EVS client, go to the menu QR code validator, upload your file and click on validate. So you have the screenshot and every details to perform this test once you have the WHO Universal Verifier available. So now let's suppose I already performed my test and the test is successfully done in EVS client. If it's not successfully done, you need to fix your bug and then check what's happened and then come back test again. But if it's successfully done, so now you can share your certificate to the others participants. To do so, you need to go to this link, the Gazelle test management tool, and go to this link. In the Gazelle test management tool, you have the menu testing and then sample exchange, this submenu. When you click on it, you need to select your organization name, it's Paraguay, for example. And when you select Paraguay, you need to go to the section sample to share. This sample, and on this sample, you can share the certificate you successfully validate in EVS client. So let's suppose, for example, I validate a COVID QR code. So I need to upload my COVID QR code in this section. I need to click on the plus button and say, okay, I am from Paraguay, and this is my COVID samples. Okay, something like this. And then you have the section file. So from now you can click on this plus button and then upload your file. Okay. So let's do it right now. Maybe something like this. Just an example. Okay. So now I upload my valid QR code. Now I'm going to go back to the list, and now this is the Paraguay COVID samples, and this is valid. And the monitors from our side will mark this validation our validate instance. Once it's validated by the monitors, so this file will be visible for the others participant. So for example, this is for Paraguay, and then Ecuador, Belize, Suriname, Chile, El Salvador, the others countries will be able to see the valid COVID certificate coming from Paraguay, and then they can use it for their system and then see if they can read it or not. So this is what we explain in this in the second stage. Okay. Click on this link, go to the testing menu, sample exchange, make sure your organization is selected, go to the section sample to share, upload your valid certificate. So these are the steps to show how to upload the valid certificate. And if everything is done, you can go back to the list of sample, and that's it. And after that, the monitors will come and check if everything is okay. Just one more thing during your preparatory stage, the default status of your test instance is running. So once you are done, you can change it to be verified. Okay, and the monitors will be able to see this test instance and then start the monitoring. This is okay. So this is for the COVID. So now let's suppose I have another COVID certificate with another patient. So you can execute the same test by clicking on the play button and then do the same exercise for another samples. If you have samples for polio, let me go back to the Paraguay. I'm not sure this is for Paraguay. Let me check. Okay, this is for Paraguay. So I select preparatory. So now I have the QR code for the QR code with polio. If you would like to test polio, this is optional, it's not mandatory. So do the same, click on the play button and then click again on the play button, and then that's exactly the same steps. It's just the QR code you are testing is different. And when you go to the stage 2, in which you need to share your samples to the other participant, so be careful you select this section, the polio virus certificate. You need to share your QR code in this section, not in the COVID section, okay? If you are testing yellow fever COVID certificate, you need to select the yellow fever certificate. So you need to click on the plus button and say, okay, Paraguay, Paraguay, then yellow fever, and then sample certificate, something like this, okay? So this is the process for the preparatory. For the others country, as I said, you are not involved in the preparatory stage. For IPS, the test you will execute during the event will looks like that's the same process, because for IPS, we will ask you to validate your bundle in the IPS validators and also to share it to the others participant. That's the same testing process, but you are not allowed to do it right now. You can wait for the testing session in Sao Paulo to do those exercises. So globally, this is what I wanted to show you in the preparatory testing. So now if you need any support for the testing to find the menu in Gazelle, or you need any support in the testing for a DDVC, you can reach Carlos or me, but principally Carlos. And also I give you the link to the LACPASS Connectaton website and the link to the Gazelle page. And just to remind you that the Carlos will give you the information on when the DDCC validator will be available. Right now it's not available because the validator is under development on WHO side. But once development are done, we test it on our side, and then we'll give you the information on we share the information that the validator is available and you can start your preparatory test. So for the next webinar, I will open the question windows. For the next webinar, as I said, we will focus on the countries that are participating remotely to the event. And for the other countries that will be on site, Carlos will introduce you the daily, give you the introduction of the daily event of the program. We start with track 1, track 2, track 3. We will get all the information with Carlos. We'll also present you the monitoring team, the team that will support you. They will support your test. They will support you, and they will also grade your test during the project attempt. So you will have a presentation of that team. Presentation of the staff team from Raxel, from IHE, and also we'll present you also the peer-to-peer testing. This is another test plan you will get for the event in Sao Paulo. So this is for the peer-to-peer testing, the testing with your partner. So you will have another presentation. We have another webinar for these topics. And now, if you have any question regarding, we have 20 minutes left. If you have any question regarding the profiles, if your flag is not in the right profiles, or if you would like to test more profiles, let us know. And also, if you have some question in the testing process, the preparatory stage, also let me know. I can do another demo if you want. Okay, so thank you for your attention, and yeah, I'm checking the windows if there are some questions.